Are Apple Silicon computers any good for making music? Are they as powerful as most people say they are? What about battery life? Will they support your workflow, your DAWs, and VSTs? All this and more on this episode of Pro Music Creator. Apple offers a range of computers powered by Apple Silicon processors. These include the Mac Mini, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and the upcoming Mac Pro. The Mac Mini is a compact desktop computer that is perfect for everyday tasks, has some serious power this year, and is capable of performing some real pro-level feats. At the same time, the MacBook Air and Pro are lightweight laptops that offer powerful performance and portability. Later this year, Apple is supposed to release the new Apple Silicon-based Mac Pro as their most powerful desktop computer. It's designed for professionals and those who need the most power. All of these computers are powered or will be powered by the Apple Silicon, which offers great performance and battery life, making them perfect for making music either in your studio or on the go. When it comes to music production, many people may be considering the purchase of this year's new Apple MacBook Pro M2 Max. The new Apple MacBook Pro M2 Max is the most powerful laptop powered by the Apple Silicon processor. This laptop offers incredibly fast performance with up to 12-core CPU and 30-core GPU and up to 96 gigabytes of unified memory. It also comes with a 16-inch Liquid Retina XDR display and a full-size keyboard with backlighting, which is perfect for creating music with clarity and sharpness even in dark rooms. Not to mention that with this much power, you can run an almost endless collection of plugins all within a single session. The MacBook Pro M2 Max also features a long-lasting battery life, allowing users to make music without worrying about their battery dying. You can record for hours without worrying about running out of juice. It also features powerful graphics and is capable of running multiple applications at the same time. Additionally, it comes with Apple's latest operating system, which is the macOS Ventura, providing users with a modern and intuitive interface for making music. Finally, the MacBook Pro M2 Max is also packed with security features such as the Secure Enclave and the Touch ID, providing users with the peace of mind that their data is always safe. The new M2 MacBook Pro Max is the ultimate music production and creation device. Its groundbreaking performance and powerful features have revolutionized the way that music production is done. It makes it easier to adjust your audio settings and create music with ease quickly. The MacBook Pro Max also has a variety of powerful audio tools that are perfect for creating and producing music. It comes with GarageBand, a great way to make beats and record your own songs. For those wishing for a more powerful digital audio workstation or DAW, they can upgrade to Apple's own Logic Pro X, which is a powerful audio recording and editing program. Additionally, the MacBook Pro Max has access to the App Store, where you can find a wide selection of music production and creation apps. There are several DAWs on the market today that also support Apple Silicon, some better than others. Stick around to the end to find out how they fare on Apple Silicon. I definitely ran into my share of issues initially. More on that later. In the meantime, if you enjoy this type of content and want to see more like this, please click on the like button. For those looking to purchase a laptop for music production, the MacBook Pro M2 Max is an excellent choice. It offers performance, a long-lasting battery life, and plenty of features that make producing music easy and enjoyable. The MacBook Air M2 is also a great option for music producers. While the Air M2 may not offer the same performance as the Pro M2, it still offers plenty of features that make it a great choice for music production production. Ultimately, the decision of which laptop to purchase comes down to each individual's needs and preferences, and most importantly, budget. When it comes to making music on Apple Silicon computer, it is important to consider the pros and cons of using the processor. While there are some drawbacks to using Apple Silicon, it is still possible to get good results and make great music. For one, the DAW you're considering may not be able to support and execute properly on Apple Silicon fully. Number two, the VST plugins that you use on a regular basis may not load or run on Apple Silicon yet. And while most manufacturers have already ported their software to Apple Silicon, there are still a few slackers trickling in. Let's cover some of the popular DAWs, and then I'll give you some details on the VSTs. Let's talk about the type of support provided by most digital audio workstations or DAWs. First up is Ableton Live. It is fully compatible with Apple Silicon computers. It includes native support for Apple Silicon chips and features Universal 2, which means that both Intel and Apple Silicon code are included. This should make the software run more efficiently on Macs, and it also includes new features and changes in other areas as well. However, Intel-only VSTs and audio units will not load. Next up is FL Studio. Imagine Line released FL Studio with native support for Apple Silicon processor. This update comes with many improvements to the workflow as well as free features. Furthermore, the FL update fixed a lot of issues with the native Silicon mode, and users may not even need to use Rosetta 2 for anything. Now, let's talk about Studio One. Studio One offers native support for Apple Silicon processor-based Macs, allowing for an improved performance and reduced noise. All PreSonus software and hardware have either been updated or will be updated soon to take advantage of this compatibility. Recent releases of Studio One bring a new level of performance and efficiency to the platform. Next, let's talk about Reaper. The support for native Apple Silicon is presently in beta. The ARM version has been shown to have great performance and is compatible with the new Mac Mini with Apple Silicon chips. Also, some minor bugs are associated with it. Non-native plugins can still work, but a great many of them need to be reinstalled due to the macOS updates, which require developers to register their applications. Additionally, there is a performance hit when running Reaper under Rosetta 2, as it only translates x86 64 code and the JS plugins are x87. Next up, Logic Pro now supports Apple Silicon natively. As if you had to wonder, since this is Apple's own product. I did run into some issues with VSTs though. I'll tell you more about this in a moment. Pro Tools now supports Apple Silicon natively with a recent public beta release. Originally, earlier versions of Pro Tools updates included Mac OS Ventura qualification, support for a new scripting SDK, and delivered numerous bug fixes and performance improvements. This enabled users to run Pro Tools natively on Apple Silicon processors. The Avid Complete Plugin Bundle has also been updated for full native M1 support, and to that, I say it's about time. I originally worked on Pro Tools for some time on Intel-based Windows and Mac machines. However, when I switched to Apple Silicon, I had a ton of problems running existing plugins. Shortly afterwards, I switched to Apple Logic Pro, and things were working for a while. Logic Pro even supported some of my old Intel-based plugins with Rosetta. However, once I upgraded to Ventura, things started to go downhill. After much frustration, I decided to try Ableton Live, and I was thrilled to learn that Live supported all of my plugins all over again. I've been using Ableton Live ever since and haven't looked back. Now let's talk about VST's support for Apple Silicon, or lack thereof. This has been a very complicated mixed bag. Some manufacturers ran to support Apple Silicon immediately, while others are still working on releasing the first native releases of their plugins. One possible reason why VST makers might not be supporting Apple Silicon natively yet is because of the cost. Developing apps for Apple Silicon requires specialized resources and may be more expensive than developing apps for Intel-based Macs. Additionally, Apple Silicon still has a relatively small market share compared to Intel-based Macs, making it less attractive to developers. Finally, it is possible that the architecture of Apple Silicon processor may require more intensive development and may be more difficult to support than the Intel-based Macs, especially for smaller companies. Avid, one of the major players in the music making industry, has been reluctant to support Apple Silicon. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, not a fact, is that they would make less money from their hardware. Consider this for a minute. Apple Silicon is capable of performing both recording and mixing using native plugins with little to no latency. You know what latency is? That little thing that causes you to record and hear yourself in your headphones a couple of milliseconds later. Apple Silicon virtually makes this problem disappear, thereby requiring no external DSP processing. That doesn't mean that I don't use DSP processing. I love my Universal Audio DSP-based hardware, and I still continue to use it alongside my Apple Silicon. But we'll save that discussion for a later video. But getting back to Avid, if you are no longer required to use DSP processing and everything can literally run in the box, why would you need Avid DSP? Many VSTs out there run natively and are just as good, if not better, than Avid supplied VSTs. The music industry has invested a lot of money in Avid hardware and software combinations, but running in the box makes some of that hardware unnecessary. The industry is quickly turning to bedroom producers for songs and releasing them in their raw form right out to the public. It's becoming the norm. There are even Grammy Award-winning songs that were recorded in bedrooms these days. So why would you need DSP-based hardware anymore if you can do it all within an Apple Silicon-based computer? Well, anyway, that's just my theory. I could be wrong. So let's get back to our discussion of the VST plugins on Apple Silicon. When running VST plugins on Apple Silicon using Rosetta, there are a few drawbacks to consider. Firstly, running Rosetta may cause an increase in system latency and therefore cause a decrease in audio quality. Secondly, running Rosetta may cause a decrease in performance as the program may need to be translated to an Intel-based format before it can be executed by the Apple Silicon processor. Finally, using Rosetta may also make it difficult to use certain features of the program, such as advanced menus or certain audio effects. For those looking for a list of the VST plugins that run natively on Apple Silicon, there are several resources available on Apple's website. It provides a list of the compatible software, and there are also third-party websites that list VST plugins that are optimized for Apple Silicon. Many of the VST developers have their own websites where they list which plugins are compatible with Apple Silicon. And finally, many online forums are also a great resource for finding out which VST plugins are supported on Apple Silicon. Ultimately, whether Apple Silicon computer is good for making music depends on the individual's preferences and needs. Those who are looking for a powerful, reliable machine should consider an Intel-based Mac, while those who are looking for a lightweight, portable, next-generation machine, especially if you're already in the Apple ecosystem, may want to consider an Apple Silicon-based computer. Another consideration you might have is to click that like button and click the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you're made aware of the upcoming videos when I release them. And if you wouldn't mind, please comment below and let me know if you're considering an Apple Silicon computer or sticking with an Intel based, and why. Please help me to share this video with others. It'll go a long way in supporting and helping the channel grow. So to summarize, Apple's new Silicon Mac is the ultimate music production and creation device, offering powerful performance, long-lasting battery life, and plenty of features that make creating music easy and enjoyable. Additionally, the MacBook Air is also a great option for music producers. While the Air may not offer the same performance as the Pro, it still offers plenty of features that make it a great choice for music production, especially for those on a budget. Most digital audio workstations, or DAWs, are compatible with Apple Silicon, although some VSTs may not be supported just yet. Until next time, keep making music, and we'll see you here on the next Pro Music Creator.